is like Aaron in his generation, and Yiftach B'dari Kishmul B'dari. Yiftach in his generation is like Shmuel in his generation. And Lamedcha, this teaches you, Shafilu Kal Shabakalim, even someone who's not so significant, but Nisman and Parnasal Sibur, he's appointed as a leader over everyone. Hareu Ka'abir Shabirim, he's like the most distinguished of everyone, and we have to follow him. V'aymer, and it says another pasuk, Ubasal Kaihanim Alavim, and you should come to the Kaihanim Alavim, Bela Shefet Asher Bayam Mahim, and to the Shefet that's in those days. And now the Gemara asks, why do we have to say you come to the Shefet that's in those days? Why not just say we have to come to the Shefet? Do you really have a Havamina? The person's go to a Dayan that's not in his days. How is he going to get to that person? He's not living. So as it teaches us, that means you should only go to the Shefet that you have. You follow the Shefet, the judge, the Dayan that you have. Furthermore, it says in the pasuk, Al Taimar, don't say, why was it the former days were much better than these? Meaning a person always has to follow the judges, the Dayanim, the Gedalim that he has in his generation, and he doesn't start saying, oh, the ones in the previous generation were so much better. And by that same token, Rabbi Daisam and Hyrcanus was telling Rabbi Yeshua, you have to follow the leaders of the generation. Rabbi Gamaliel is the Nasi, you have to follow the Nasi. And so therefore he accepted that. And the Mishnah said, Nato Makloi Ma'isa Biyadoi, he took his staff and his money in his hand and he went to Rabbi Gamaliel. And Tanarban, we have a Brisa, Kivin Shura Yisai, once Rabbi Gamaliel saw him, Aman Mikisai, he stood up from his chair, Nushak al Rosh, and he kissed him on his head. Amrullah, he told him, Shalom Alecha, Rebbe v'Talmidi. Shalom to you, my Rebbe and my Talmud. Rebbe, you're my Rebbe, Shalom Deni Torah B'Rabbim, because you taught me Torah publicly. The Talmidi, and you're considered my Talmud. Shani Gazer Alecha Gzeira, I make a Gzeira, a decree upon you, V'Atom Akamek a Talmud, and you kept it like a Talmud. And Rabbi Gamaliel continued, Asher Hadar, praiseworthy is generation, Shagdalim Nishmayim Laktanim, that the greater people listen to the lesser people, and Kalvachaymer Ktanim Lakdalim, Kalvachaymer when the lesser listen to the greater. The Gemara asks, how does that make sense? Kalvachaymer, what does it mean? Kalvachaymer, like it's such a great thing when those of lesser stature listen to those of greater stature. Chiyuvu, it's a chiyuv. Of course, someone who's a katan has to listen to someone who's a gadol. So the Gemara explains, Ella, what he meant to say was, Mitach Shagdalim Nishmayim Laktanim, when everyone sees that those of greater stature are listening to those of lesser stature, Noisim Ktanim Kalvachaymer Ba'atman, so those of lesser stature, they make the Kalvachaymer and they say, oh, we for sure have to listen to the Gedolim. Hajar Lachem Ein Makir, Malstov, we're finishing the second paragraph of Rosh Hashanah. We should be zeicha finish the entire Masech together, and of course, all of Shas together. And jumping right into the new parak, Ru'u Bezin V'chol Yisrael, let's say Bezin and all of Klal Yisrael saw the new moon, Nechru Eidim, and they investigated, they interrogated the Eidim, V'lo Yispiku Le'er Mekudesh, but they didn't have a chance to say Mekudesh, Ad Shechashecha became dark, Harezim Ober, so then the month is extended. We do not say that's Rosh Chodesh, we have to extend it a day. Ru'u Bezin Bovad, let's say only Bezin saw the new moon, and there was no witnesses, so Yamdu Shnaim, two of Bezin get up, V'yidu B'fneihem, and they give testimony in front of the rest of Bezin, V'yer Mekudesh Mekudesh, and then they say Mekudesh Mekudesh. Ru'u Shloisha, let's say only three people saw it, V'hein Bezdin, and they were Bezdin, Yamdu Hashnaim, so two of those get up, they act as witnesses, V'yeshuv Mechavreim Eitzel Yachid, and then they take two other Talmidei Chachamim and place them next to this last remaining Dayan, V'yidu B'fneihem, and then they give the testimony, V'yer Mekudesh Mekudesh, and then they say Mekudesh Mekudesh. Why is it they do this? Because one person isn't believed by himself, you can't just have one judge up there, we have to have three people. The Gemara asks, why is it we have to say a case that Bezdin and all of Israel saw it? What do we learn from there? It's Shrech, we need that. You might have thought, since all Bezdin and all of Klal Yisrael saw the new moon, if our Smolah, this is already something that's public, we shouldn't extend the month just because it became nighttime. Kamashman, the Chiddush is, since they didn't say Mekudesh, it's already nighttime, so we have to extend the month, even though everyone saw it. But now we continue asking, once the Mishnah had said, Ru'u Bezdin Mechal Yisrael, the Bezdin and all Yisrael saw it, so Nechker Eidim Lamali, what do we learn from the stage of the Mishnah that they asked and they interrogated the Eidim? What do we learn from there? So the Gemara answers, Hachikama, really this is what the Mishnah is saying, it's two separate cases. Inami, or if it was a case where not everyone saw it, and it was just a standard case where Nechru Eidim, where they interrogated the Eidim, and that was also had the same conclusion. They didn't have a chance to say Mekudesh until it became dark, so we have to extend the month. So the Gemara asks, if so, once we established that if it got dark and they didn't have a chance to say Mekudesh, so we have to extend the month, so why do we have to talk about that second case at all, where they were investigating the Eidim and asking them questions, and it became dark? It's the same thing as the first case. The bottom line is that it's already nighttime and they didn't have a chance to say Mekudesh. The Gemara answers, Itzrich, we still need that case. So you might think, to have Chakiras Eidim, that this investigation, this questioning of the Eidim, should be like Ketchilas Din, the beginning of the whole procedure of Kiddush HaChadesh, Mekudesh Mekudesh Kigmar Din. And when they say Mekudesh Mekudesh, that's just like the end of the Din, that's just like the conclusion of the procedure. And V'likdashi B'layla, they should be able to Mekadesh the moon at night. Midid Hava Dini Mammon is just like a regular standard case of Dini Mammon is when we have a regular monetary dispute that gets brought to Bezdin. Dinam, we have a Mishnah. Dini Mammon is done in B'yayim, you're allowed to judge a case of Dina Mamadis, regular monetary dispute, that's judged during the day. The Gomer Balayla, but it could be completed at night, as long as it was started during the day. Hachanami, so too over here, Makach and Balayla, you might think that since they started it during the day, they can complete the Kiddush HaChodesh at night. Kamashma, the Kiddush is that they're not allowed to do that. The Gemara asks, Hachinami, perhaps they are allowed to do that. Perhaps Kiddush HaChodesh is like regular Dina Mamadis. So the answer is, Amakra, the Pasuk says, Ki Chayk Yisrael Hu, Mishpat Le'ekei Yaakov. Amos have a chayk. When is something considered a chayk, a statute? It's set in stone. That's big mardin. That's only at the end of it. The kakar le rachman mishpat, but the Torah is still calling it mishpat, and mishpat means a judgment. Ma mishpat bayayim av hachanayim bayayim. Just like a judgment has to be started during the day, so too this, which is called a judgment, has to be started and completed. The time it becomes a chayk means that's when it's completed. It has to be completed as well during the day. And the Mishnah said, Ru'u bezin yamdu shnayim v'yidu b'fneim. Let's say bezin were the only ones that saw the new moon, so two of bezin have to get up and they give edus in front of the rest of bezin. The Gemara asks, why should it be that listening to an eidos is greater than them actually seeing it? We know that seeing is greater than actually hearing. So why is it they have to have eidos being given to them in order to mikash l'chaydesh? We know that there's no chiyuv of eidos being given. The pasuk doesn't say that we actually have to have eidos for kiddush l'chaydesh. So why is it that we're requiring two people of bezin to get up and give eidos? So Rabbi Zecharia answers, that's because bezin saw it at night. And since kiddush l'chaydesh can't happen at night, it has to happen during the day. And by the time the day comes, there's no moon in the sky. So therefore, what would bezin be makash l'chaydesh off of? They're not looking at the moon directly. They don't see it right now. They saw it a bunch of hours ago. That's why they would need to have edim. But it is true that if it was during the day and they saw the moon then bezdin would be able to makash l'chaydesh without having to hear edus about it. And the Mishnah continued with the case where let's say only 3 people saw the new moon, behin bezdin, and they were the bezdin. Yamdu shnaim, so 2 of them get up. Then they take 2 other people and put them next to the last remaining dayan. The Gemara asks the same question that we just asked. Amai, why do these 2 dayanim have to get up to act as edim? Why don't we say the same thing over here? That them hearing the edus shouldn't be greater than them actually having seen it, and they saw the new moon. Why do they have to hear edus about it? And v'chitim, if you want to suggest hachinami, it's the same case. Kugan shiru balayla, they saw the moon at night, and that's why we have to have a specific edus during the day about it. Hainu hach, that's the same case as the Resha. So why do we have to have 2 of the same cases? So the Gemara answers, sefer tzrichalei. It's really what the end of the Mishnah says. That's the chiddush. The eina yachin neman alidei atzmai. The one dayan, he's not neman. He can't be makash l'chaydesh by himself. You might think, since we have a brisa, dini mamadis b'shloisha, that a regular monetary case has to be judged by 3 people. If this person is a well-known expert, so he could judge it even by himself. So over here, you might think that he can makash l'chaydesh by himself. He's a dayan, he's an expert. Kamashmal, the chiddush is we have to have 3 dayanim, and they're the ones that have to makash l'chaydesh. We're not allowed to have only one. Ask the Gemara, perhaps that is so, meaning maybe one dayan is allowed to makash l'chaydesh. So the Gemara answers, there was never a well-known expert in Klal Yisrael, more than Moshe Rabbeinu. The Karmel Akash Baruch Hu, and Akash Baruch Hu told him, Ad ika Aaron ba'adach, you have to have Aaron with you. The Chsiv says in the pasuk, Vayemer Shalom Moshe ve'al Aaron be'eretz Mitzrayim lemar hachodesh hazel lachem. So Hashem spoke to Moshe and Aaron, saying that we need to have more than one person being mekadosh l'chaydesh. We can't just have one person being mekadosh l'chaydesh. So it's not like dini mamanis. But now the Gemara asks a question. Remember the aid nasu dayan? Does this mean to say that someone who could be an aid is also allowed to act as a dayan? We have this last remaining judge who's not acting as a witness, but he could act as a witness, and he's sitting down acting as a judge. Is that really allowed? Like Rabbi Kiva. If so, let's say our Mishnah is not like Rabbi Kiva. The time we have a brisa, Sanhedrin shiro echad sharagas hanefesh. All of Sanhedrin is sitting, and they see one person kill another. They watch Reuven kill Shimon right in front of their eyes. Chafav amal alf on top. Miksasan nasu edim, miksasan nasu dayanim. Some of them they get up and they act as the edim, and some of them remain as dayanim. They were Rabbi Tarfon, this Rabbi Tarfon. Rabbi Kiva, he says, Kula nasim edim. Since all of them became edim, they all witnessed the case. Ve'ein eid nasu dayan. You can't have an aid being a dayan, meaning someone who could potentially be a witness is not allowed to act as the dayan. So it must be that our Mishnah is not like Rabbi Kiva. The Gemara answers that's not a raya. Feel time Rabbi Kiva, our Mishnah could be like Rabbi Kiva. Ad kan like Rabbi Kiva Hasav. The only reason why Rabbi Kiva says over there that they are not allowed to be the dayanim is elab din nefashis. We're talking about a case of din nefashis. Drachman Amar, the Torah says v'shaftu eda, the eda should judge, v'yitzilu eda, and they should save. Meaning they have to try to come up with every sort of possible reason why Reuven is not chayiv misa, even though he killed Shimon. And v'kiven dechazyuhu the katal nafsha, since they saw Reuven killing Shimon, loymatzu chas leizchusa, they're not going to be able to find any sort of merit. Only if they didn't actually see Reuven killing Shimon and all they did was hear an edus about it, okay, so maybe they'll be able to find the merit. But since they saw it with their own eyes, they're not going to possibly be able to find merit, and that's why they can't be judges. But in this case, I feel Rabbi Kiva might there. Rabbi Kiva would agree that since they saw the new moon, they could act as judges. They're not allowed to be the witnesses and judges, but they are allowed to be the judges in that case, even though they are witnesses as well to the new moon. We're going to stop here for the day. Pick up tomorrow with a brand new Mishnah. For now, everyone should have a wonderful day.
Wonderful day.